Welcome to episode 25 of Gary's Music Cafe. Happy weekend once again. Today's show includes two songs by Paul Thorn, a kind of under-the-radar superstar who has a John Prine-like following of fans just all over the United States, maybe all over the world. A couple songs of his. One's called You're Not the Only One. The other one is called Better Days Ahead. He's got great lyrics. He's a great lyricist. Anyway, let's get to our fan mail. Hal Ibbett from Shooters Point, Arkansas writes, Gary, do you play any other instruments? Well, Hal, thank you for that question. I play a little bit of bass guitar, and I've tried banjo, not very successfully, I might add. But I do play a bit of piano, and who knows, maybe in a couple of shows from now, maybe we'll have a cafe with actually some piano in it. That might be entertaining, especially for me. Oh, so there you go, Hal. Thanks for that question. Okay, one thing more before we get to the music. Due to budget cuts here at the cafe, I had to let Roy go, and although that really wasn't a tremendous loss at all, it did force some studio changes that you might notice. So just bear with me on that, if you would. And now, let's get to the music. Paul Thorn is an American Southern rock, country, Americana, and blues singer-songwriter whose style is a mix of blues, country, and rock. He was born in Kenosha, Wisconsin, but grew up when his family moved to Tupelo, Mississippi, and kind of Mississippi is what he considers his home. Interesting about Paul, I'm going to talk more about Paul than the songs. Prior to being a musician, Paul was a boxer, and in fact, a professional boxer, went 14-4. And one of his boxing highlights included winning the Mid-South Middleweight Championship in Memphis, Tennessee, and it culminated with a nationally televised bout with former world champion Roberto Duran, which if you ever go to see Paul Thorn, he puts on a wonderful show, and he will tell some great stories, a lot like Jim Croce in that way. He's got a lot of behind-the-scenes stories. He'll tell you all about the boxing thing and how that went. In 1997, while performing at a singer-songwriters night at a local pizza shop, a representative from BMI overheard Paul and was impressed with his singing and writing capability. As a result, several record companies came to Tupelo to hear him perform, and after Thorn performed, Wyatt Easterling brought Paul Thorn to Nashville, Tennessee, and within the next 30 days, Thorn was opening for Sting. That's pretty cool. Thorn was subsequently signed to a record contract with A&M, and his first record was through A&M, Hammer and Nail, in 1997. That's a cool record if you purchase it on Amazon, I'm sure. And then he left A&M, and everything else he's done, all his albums are self-produced now. And interesting, cool thing, he also does his own artwork on his albums, and he's a cool artist. Thorn has toured with as an opening act for Huey Lewis and the News, Sting, John Prine, Mark Knopfler, Robert Cray, Bonnie Raitt, Jerry Jeff Walker, Toby Keith. So he's been with a lot of big names. Last interesting point is he's done a lot of good publicity and a lot of good endorsing of Mississippi, and in I think it was in 85 or something like that, the Mississippi House of Representatives named March 27th as Paul Thorn Day in recognition of his constant support of his home state. So, neat. Anyway, first we'll do You're Not the Only One, and then we'll follow that with Better Days Ahead, two of Paul's great songs. Thanks for joining me this week. We're just going to go back to back with the songs and have a wonderful weekend. Take care. I hear my neighbors, something ain't right. I hear them fighting every night. I can't believe how much they fuss. Sometimes they sound just like us. When you hear this song, insert your name. The problems we have are all the same. If you're above the ground, if you're under the sun, whatever mountain you gotta climb, you're not the only one. I told an old man, you just don't know what I've had to go through out on the road. He just smiled and shook his head. He said, boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. When you hear this song, insert your name. The problems we have are all the same. If you're above the ground, if you're under the sun, whatever mountain you gotta climb, you're not the only one. Life don't come with any guarantees. You only get so many heartbeats. It's such a blessing to be alive. Whatever happens, I'm satisfied. When you hear this song, insert your name. The problems we have are all the same. If you're above the ground, if you're under the sun, whatever mountain you gotta climb, whatever mountain you gotta climb, you're not the only one. Down in New Orleans, the pouring rain is flooding the streets at Lake Pontchartrain. With its gray cold weather, it's bringing us down. Maybe we should just pack up and leave this town. Out there somewhere the sun still shines, somewhere the water tastes just like wine. Got to believe where there's a will, there's a way. Let's live for tomorrow, forget yesterday. And there's better days ahead, better days ahead. With our last dime, I'm willing to bet there's better days ahead. Over our shoulder, what do we see? Some torn down bridges, yeah, bad memories. Been a long time since we held a winning hand. That long dark tunnel has a light at the end. And there's better days ahead, better days ahead. With our last dime, I'm willing to bet there's better days ahead. We've had heartaches and financial woes, but at rock bottom, there's just one place to go. If don't get discouraged, it's just a matter of time. This is just a little mountain I know we can climb. And there's better days ahead, better better days ahead. With our last dime, I'm willing to bet there's better days ahead. Christopher Robin and I walked along under branches lit up by the moon, posing our questions to Owl and Eeyore as our days disappeared all too soon. But I've wandered much further today than I should,